Hello everybody and welcome back to Cask and Point. Today we're going to be reviewing a Rare Character Exceptional Series Wheated Bourbon. So this is from a local store called Beverage King, and Beverage King has done some of the best Rare Character picks that I've ever tried. They had an incredible TKO, an incredible KOA, a legendary HR7 that commands around $1,000 on secondary markets, and so when I found out that they were doing this Exceptional Series Wheated Bourbon, I was so incredibly excited to get my hands on a bottle. So we're going to be trying it here today, finding out if it really is all that exceptional. And if you're not too familiar with the Exceptional Series from Rare Character, obviously Rare Character, I've done about 15 reviews on Rare Character already. They source all their whiskeys and they're really good at it, and I've had a lot of great whiskey from Rare Character, and they primarily do their single barrel series. So they have different barrel codes like HR7, KRY, all these other things, and then they have a few things outside of that. So they have Brook Hill, their top of the line series, but then they also do something kind of on the side, a little bit funkier, called the Rare Character Exceptional Series. And this primarily had malt whiskeys, so they had 9-year, 10-year, 15-year malt whiskeys, and some people loved them, others really didn't like them as much. I was kind of in the middle. Some I found pretty enjoyable, some I didn't really enjoy as much. For the MSRP on the bottles, which were around $300 for the 15 years, I didn't really like them for that, but I definitely thought some of the younger ones that were a lot cheaper were definitely pretty solid for the price. So this is a wheated bourbon. It's part of a new series where they have 9 years. They're about 130, 135 proof, and some people have been saying that they're really good, so we're going to find out here. Now, this bottle did retail for about $160 plus tax, so not super expensive, but also, definitely a little bit more expensive than the single barrels that are usually between 100 and 125 bucks. But I think that's enough talking. Let's try this Rare Character Exceptional Series. And the nose here, definitely getting some nice wheat funk on here. It's really sweet. There's a lot of vanilla on here, a good amount of caramel. Wow, it's really, really strong on the vanilla, like a nice vanilla extract, kind of molasses note on it. But the oak is interesting. It's not a typical Kentucky oak. Now, to my understanding, these are actually distilled in West Virginia. Yeah, distilled in West Virginia, aged in West Virginia. So some people have speculated that these are Smooth Ambler. Now, I haven't had anything from Smooth Ambler, so that doesn't really mean all that much to me, other than this is going to be pretty funky relative to the stuff I've had. But I will say, it definitely smells like a wheated bourbon. And there's also quite a bit of influence from rye here. Now, it's unclear what the mash bill is. There may be rye in the mash bill, there may not be. We honestly don't know. But this one definitely has some of that influence in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was rye in this. And definitely primarily a wheated bourbon. The wheat is much stronger than that rye spice, that nutmeg, that cinnamon that I would typically get off of rye. Wow, it smells really good, but the oak is super, super interesting here. The oak is definitely a bit hot. Wow, it's really good. Let's try it. Wow, that's interesting. That's really good. Wow, the palate on that one is really nice. Definitely like the palate more than the nose on this one. Really sweet. A little bit less vanilla molasses on the palate, but you really get a nice complexity of that oak, the spice on there. You definitely have a lot of nutmeg on this pour, which is really good. Wow, that's definitely really interesting. Now, I will note all these wheated bourbons have had these birds on them, so apparently there are all these different kinds of birds, and some people have been collecting all the different kinds of birds. I'm not sure what bird this is. I'm happy to hear about it down below in the comments, but I think this bird is pretty cool. I don't know, it's blue, it's orange, it's white. I don't really have too many thoughts on it. But it's pretty cool that, they like to do these different things to differentiate single barrels. This is what the Beverage King bird looks like. There's a Connecticut State barrel that has a very different kind of bird on it. And then obviously there are just so many other birds out there from the different areas. Wow, this is weird. So I'm not getting any of like the typical cherry or plum or all these notes that I typically get on a lot of more typical bourbon whiskeys. Even wheated bourbons like William Blue Weller are going to have a lot of that rich red fruit. The wheated bourbons from Rare Character, they had a W2N series where they only had 4 barrels, and those were about 135 proof and 9 years old as well. So actually very similar statistically, but those were from Tennessee, and those were really big on red fruit, but they kind of had a weird Tennessee oak in it that I didn't love. But this is really weird. I mean, this is not like anything I've ever had. It's really, really vanilla, spice, almost getting like a nice citrus on this as well. And then an oak funk to it that's really reminiscent of like an old stag batch, like almost like a dusty note on it. It's really good. Let's take a second sip. Wow, that's good. That's good. I wish I had a backup of that bottle. Wow, that is totally a bottle that I wish I had two of. This is unfortunately for a friend, so I don't have any other bottles of this, but I wish I could find another one. If I find another one, definitely going to be keeping it because, wow, that's great. That is really, really good here. Very sweet. A lot of that vanilla, a lot of that citrus, a lot of that caramel is going to come through on that palate. Very enjoyable pour here. Let's take a third sip here and let's give it a rating. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, very similar actually in all the sips, I will say. It's not something that needed a few sips to really warm up here. I will say, you know, you start off with this hot, this vanilla, this citrus, kind of eases into almost like a gingerbread note towards the late palate on this. Very rich, very full-bodied throughout this pour. We're really getting a ton of flavor from the front palate to the mid palate to the late palate to the finish. There's just so much going on here. But it's really a mix of this like funky oak that kind of has a dusty element to it, on top of this really rich vanilla, this really nice citrus, this nice rye spice, and cinnamon, nutmeg on it. There's a lot going on here. Obviously, I do really, really like fruit on my whiskeys, and this doesn't have any of that, but I still really enjoy it. And I don't think this drink's all that much lower than 132 proof. Definitely drinks under 132 proof, but I think too often people claim that whiskeys drink way lower than their proof, and they don't realize that that is just kind of what 130 proof whiskey tastes like, and they've just gotten acclimated to higher proof whiskeys. This to me it's pretty hot. This is not a mellow pour, and that's good. I like the punch on it. I like the flavor on it. I like that it's full-bodied. Well, actually, I'll take this final sip with you guys before I give it a rating, but I'm definitely enjoying this pour. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm going to rate that an 8.2. I think it's very solid. I think for the money, it's totally worth it. I think it's a bottle that I definitely have a backup or two backups of. I don't know if I'd have like 100 bottles of it, but I don't know, maybe I could see somebody wanting that many bottles, but I don't know. It's really, really good. Definitely a great pour. Definitely a good job to Harsha and the Rare Character crew. This is a great pour of whiskey. I think these Rare Character Exceptional series in general are pretty funky relative to the more typical stuff. I think a lot of their single barrel series can be similar to a lot of the other stuff on the market. I really haven't had anything like this on the market. If you have, definitely let me know down below in the comments. And if you've had a pour like this, definitely let me know what you think. But I think this is very solid. Very, very happy with this pour of whiskey. But with that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.